thought I'd show you guys my Kicker subwoofer upgrade here. So I have a couple 6x9s in the back here, kind of acting as subwoofers now with my 5-channel amp, but I'm going to take out these two 6x9s and replace it with a 10-inch Kicker subwoofer. But I just wanted to show you this real quick. It's an early Bronco 1966, but so I think I'm going to have clearance. The Kicker speaker is about 10 or 5 inches deep, so I'm going to take this 6x9 and measure it, and I'm going to have to build a spacer, like a wooden spacer for the sub, but I'll show you how to do that. So guys, as you can see, there is a little, only a couple inches back here for space. So, looks like I have about almost 3 inches. So if I build a 3-inch spacer, I should be able to get in there, 2 or 3. But I want to get a little bit of clearance behind there, so I'm going to build a 3-inch spacer. It's going to come out. It's going to be a ring here. But alright, I'll build that spacer. I'll show you how you do it. Alright, cool. So hopefully I get some good sound, because I just upgraded to a 5-channel amp, and I'm using these 6x9s as subwoofers, and they kind of suck. They just can't handle any power, so gotta do the upgrade here. So yeah, the speaker hasn't come in yet, so once it comes in I'll show it to you guys. But I mean, I already know the dimensions from their website, the Kicker's website, so I know the dimensions of the speaker cutout, so I'll show you how to do that. Since I need to make a 3-inch spacer, one of the issues I'm going to face is they don't make them a 3-inch spacer for a subwoofer. Yeah, I think the biggest one I've seen on Amazon was like a 3/4 of an inch, but I need 3 inches. So this is like some old, I think it was like some tabletop. We had made a custom table, and it's about 1 inch thick. So I'm going to cut out 3 10-inch pieces and then glue them together, and then clamp it down with my my clamps. Let it dry overnight, and then jigsaw out you know, the dimensions for the speaker, and then paint it, sand it, make it look pretty. So alright, I'll let you know. I have 3 pieces cut here, and as you know, these are multiple pieces glued together, as you can see in the grain pattern. So I'm gonna actually, when I glue them, I'm gonna reverse them to give it a little more rigidity here. Kind of sort of like odd even, but hopefully this will give it more rigidity here, and just clamped up and glued. All right. So I'm gonna use some of this standard Elmer who glue here, and again, what? Okay, get up. All right. So I'm gonna put a little bit here around it and layer them up. So I have this thing clamped up here. It's not the best clamping job, but yeah, I want to make sure I clamp in the corners, because I'm going to cut this out, so I want the corners to be glued, and the centerpiece I want that to be in there. So yeah, both these are going to be cut out. So every place where I have a notch, it's going to be cut out from there. So all right, cool. Amazon Prime. I think this is the subwoofer here. Open that up. What did I get for subwoofer? Alright, cool. I got a Kicker dual voice coil. It's not an expensive one. I think it was like $70. 10-inch. And there we go. Pretty cool. So I'm gonna put this. Now I can create my template and drill this thing out. But I also actually have a grill too. I have like a protection grill, because this is going to be in the back of a Bronco, and like when I'm off-roading, I'm going to have shit in the back of the truck flying around, and I don't want something to go through and puncture this thing. So yeah, I did buy the actual, it was like only $20. It's a grill made for Kicker subwoofers. So got that going too. So yeah, I'm going to hook this up, and hopefully I can get a template out of this thing and cut out that piece of wood. So I used this piece of cardboard that came with the subwoofer here as a template to cut out the inside, but then I'm probably going to go, because I know the outside diameter is probably about 11 inches, so I'm probably going to have to make another mark around the outside. I think I'm going to taper it though too. So alright, so I hope you can see this, the sun. So I'm going to drill a hole here, get the hole started, and then use my jigsaw there to cut it out. Hopefully the blade's long enough to, I mean, this is 3 inches thick, so I need to, I mean, the blade is right about 3 inches, so get this going, and then I'll use my bandsaw to give it a bevel here. I'll show you that. Things reeled out, but one of the things is when you're drilling like or sawing with a jigsaw, a thick piece of metal like that, the blade can wander. So I might clean that up a little bit, but so now I'm going to bevel the outside. I'll drop the, let me show you real quick. So I got to trace the outside of this speaker here. So now you can see it fit in the box. And I just want to trace the outside so I know where to start beveling this thing at. I mean, I'm going to paint this thing so it doesn't make a difference with the marks. Yeah, the Sharpie's kind of old, so. Alright, so. Alright, so now I'm going to bevel the edge, so bevel outside, so it's not exactly flat coming out. Hopefully I'll be able to do a slight bevel here. Alright, I have my bandsaw set up. I did a test cut here. As you can see, I had the table tilted on the bandsaw, and I'm trying to go for like a beveled edge here, so it's wider at the bottom than it is at the top. So, alright, it's not perfect, but I guess the goal is when you see this thing from the side, I want you to see that bevel. I don't want it to just be a flat piece coming out. So I'm gonna take my belt sander to this thing and smooth it up a little bit, and yeah, that's kind of that weird piece on the bottom I already showed you. But I'm sanding this up. It's not perfect, it's not straight, so I'm going to try to make it a little bit straighter and then get this. I'm not going to paint it, I'm going to put some like rubberized coating on it, like undercoating, but I'll show you that. Alright, I'm going to use a disc sander or a belt sander. I don't have one of those fancy disc sanders, you know, the ones you, the stand-up ones, so I'm just going to use this, and I might go like this, but probably end up just going over the hand like that, smooth it up real quick. Doesn't have to be perfect, but get a little bit nicer and get ready to go. Speaker hole, I just wanted to kind of give you a basic understanding of what I was trying to do here. So I wanted to put the speaker box there. I'm going to mount it, I'm going to bolt it to the metal, and I'm probably going to put some stuffing in there to kind of separate the channels, and now you can see the actual bevel. That's what I was talking about. I want it to kind of come out to the speaker. But alright, pretty cool. So 3 inches, that should be giving enough clearance to get that big woofer in there. So cool. Thing mounted to little piece of rope here, and I'm going to use some of this 3M rubberized undercoating. It's kind of like the stuff you put for the wheel wells. Yeah, I guess I wanted it sort of like a textured black versus like some paint, because a paint will show every single defect, whereas this one I think will hopefully kind of hide some of the defects, but plus it will give it a kind of a cool look. I think like it will match the other parts of the car that I have rubberized. Alright guys, I don't know if you can see that, but just put my first coat. I think I'm only gonna do one coat, I'm not sure yet, but so you can see that it's like totally textured now, and it's kind of like rubberized too. So yeah, it's almost like it doesn't even look like wood at this point. I mean, it could look like a plastic, but it's not exactly even, as you can see. But yeah, I don't really care. It's an off-roading truck. Yeah, they just didn't make a space like this. I mean, if they would have actually had a space like this, I would have bought it. So, all right. So next I got to do is let this thing dry overnight. I'm gonna drill some holes to mount it to that the metal rear quarter panel plate back there, and put the speaker in and test it. But all right, cool. Guys, have it in the speaker cone. Let me show you real quick. Pop this out real quick so you can see what I'm doing here. Alright, so as you can see, I have the kind of out of control. It's hard for me to do this with one hand, so there it is. So I found the best side. I'm going to have that on the top so I can do it. And I'm going to put the speaker in the cone. And then I'm going to go back and mark the holes. I mean, I don't want to split the wood, so I'm going to pre-drill it. I'm going to use my little pen here. It's like a silver pen. Go back and just mark these, and then I'll come back and drill the pilot holes for where I'm going to mount it. I'll show you how to do that. But all right, cool. Okay, so I got the holes drilled around the edge here. Those are the speakers. So I also made a little silver mark on the top here. That marks the top of the speaker. So I'm going to put some holes, the mounting holes, here, here, here in the corners. But I'm going to actually make a depth cut first. A little piece of tape is my kind of like my depth gauge. Then I'm going to come back and drill a smaller hole for the screw to go through and mount into that aluminum. Alright, so I'll get this going. So I'm going to put one here, one here. I'm going to have to actually do it at an angle too because it's beveled. So, alright. Guys, have the holes drilled here. Kind of messed up on this one here. I pushed too hard and took a little bite of the wood out, but that's going to be covered by the speaker anyway. So next thing I gotta do, I'm going to come back with a smaller drill and put it down the center here. And the reason why I come back with a smaller drill is so it actually puts like an edge or like a place for the screw to like a mount or like a ledge, so that where the head of the screw is going to actually hit the touch the metal, but it's also recessed. So, all right, drilled. So I don't know if you can see that, but the concept here is to have a small hole on this side and a larger hole on this side. So the screw goes through and is able to grab onto this actual mount and then come in and I can drill or mount to the piece of metal there. The basic concept of this pilot hole is to be able to push this through and have it come out the other side, but then grab the lip, and that right there is going to go into the actual the back aluminum plate there on the quarter panel. So, alright, cool. So I had this thing lined up and I made some little marks here. I used the screws out and I kind of made a mark to kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little, I used my little white paint mark and put it on there and get this one mounted on there. So, alright, cool. I'm gonna drill some small holes. Get this thing mounted. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice and tight, nice and sturdy on there. Super tight. So, next thing I'm gonna do is put the speaker in. Get it wired up and have it wired in parallel. It's a dual voice coil subwoofer, so should be about I should be able to get about 600 watts at 2 ohms of this thing. So cool. Alright guys, have this thing wired in parallel. So it's a dual voice coil, 2 4 ohm channels, and when I have them wired in parallel like this, it makes it 2 ohms. So should be able to get more power out of this thing. So get this thing mounted up and give it a test fire. There it is, installed. Yeah, this is exactly how I envisioned it, how I pictured it when I started this thing. So yeah, I did all this with scrap wood and scrap shit that I had in the garage. So yeah, 10-inch subwoofer. Yeah, then let me show you what kind of stereo I have here. So I have it's a Pioneer. It's a media only stereo. That means it's just designed with, it has Bluetooth and like you know, it's actually designed. It's designed for there's no CD player, so it's designed actually for like either music on your phone or iPod or iPhone or whatever. But it's a 5-channel, and I have it going into so I have a front, rear, and then sub. So it's actually a 5-channel amp. And then I have a Kicker 5 in the front, and 2 6s in the back. So front, rear. Then I have that 10-inch sub now, but I used to have 6x9s in the back, and it sounded alright, but not that good. But now I got a hole on this side, and in my next video I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to put some storage racks, storage things right here. So, yeah, because I don't like having to carry around a toolbox that bounces around. So I'm going to kind of get some kind of permanent storage going here. So, cool. That'll be in the next video. But hopefully this will help somebody out and give somebody some ideas that has a Bronco that wants to add a subwoofer to it, and that's how I did it. Cool. That's a demo of the sound. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do some kind of maybe some vibration control here, but we'll see. Let's get some bass going here. Definitely sounds a million times better than the 6x9, for sure, no doubt. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to deal with some kind of vibration issues out here. I might fill this up with some more foam in here. you know, find ways to tighten this up. Maybe put some foam. I'm trying to figure it out. That sounds pretty crazy though. I mean, I guess I can always mess with the adjustments too in the amp too. There's lots of adjustments on the amp. Alright, cool.